example, a big one, I said that crime was up massively. I didn't want to go into the details. What's the purpose? Crime was up massively. And David Muir, you know, he's another one who doesn't have a clue, you know. And his hair was much better 5 years ago, I can tell you. But David Muir barged in to claim that, sir, crime was down. And he said, quote, President Trump, as you know, the FBI, says overall violent crime is coming down in this country. Now, you don't have to see the stat. You see what the hell is happening with crime? Who would say it was down, even if, without looking? He reprimanded me for saying the crime was up. And you know, somebody in our government at a very high level likes me, and they released the real numbers. It said, yet in breaking news, just yesterday night, the premier statistical agency at the Department of Justice, the Bureau of Justice Statistics, released brand new data showing that since Kamala Harris took office, violent crime nationwide is up 40%, rape is up 42%, car theft is up 42%, robberies are up 67%, aggravated assaults are up much more than 55%, and violent crime with a weapon is up 56%. Violent attacks on strangers, I never heard of that one, is up 61+%. So David Muir owes me an apology. Do you agree? She lies about everything, just like she lied about jobs. They said they had 818,000 jobs, and it was a fraud. They didn't. They just wanted to pad the numbers before the election. But fortunately, we had a leaker or a whistleblower. I don't care which. I love that person. I'm not sure who it is. And that person said that it was a total fraud. They wanted to announce the correction. They were going to do a correction right after the election. They were going to do it on the 10th of November. They just wanted to get by the election. So they fraudulently added 818,000 jobs. Isn't that unbelievable? And they announced, and yesterday they announced, yes, it was a slip up, 818,000. Because their job numbers were looking like, you know, where the hell did all those jobs come from? You know where they came from? Somebody's sick brain, that's where they came from. Under Kamala Harris and the communist left, our country is under invasion. We are under invasion just like it was an army, except in many ways it's more difficult because they don't wear a uniform. You don't know who the hell to go after. Millions and millions of illegal aliens are coming in from all over the world, from prisons and jails, from mental institutions and insane asylums, and many terrorists at numbers that we've never seen before. Terrorists are coming into our country. If you look at 2019, and I disagree with this, really, even though it's good for me. They said in the year 2019, not one terrorist, there's an official definition of that, but you don't want to hear it. Not one terrorist came in. That was my year, 2019, one of my years. Not one terrorist came into a country. Now, I sort of can't believe that, but it was pretty close. It was pretty close. And now we have thousands and thousands and thousands of terrorists coming into our country. They're coming in like from parts unknown. This will not end well unless Donald J. Trump is elected the 47th president of the United States. Right? Not going to end well. Right? Because I am your border president. From now on, I want to be your border president. You know, I did a great job in 2016 on the border, and we solved the problem very, very quickly. A beautiful job. And in 2020, when I got millions of more votes than I did in 2016, by the way, we did much better in 2020. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. But my people would say, sir, they don't want to hear about the border. I said, I want to talk about it. I did a great job. They don't care. You've solved the border. It was solved. It was beautiful. The difference is that this border crisis is 20 times worse than it was in 2016. But I'll get it solved. I'll get it solved fast, and we'll get back to making our country strong again. And I only want to be addressed no longer as Mr. President, Mr. Border President, sir. Because we got to get this border fixed. We got people coming in that have never even dreamed about being in this country. And they're coming in totally unchecked. Nobody has any idea where the hell they come from. Kamala would be the president of invasion, and I will be the president of making this country stronger, better, more beautiful, bigger, more powerful, wealthier, safer than ever before. I will protect our country. She will surrender our country. She has already let in 21 million people. And if she gets 4 more years in America, our country will be obliterated. The 21 million people will be hundreds of millions of people will come in from all over the world, which is where they're coming from now. You'll have 150 million more people. You won't have a country anymore. You're pretty close to not having one. You better hope I get elected. You better go out. You'll have a country back soon. You'll have your country back soon. Not only is Harris, do you ever notice when you say Harris, nobody knows who the hell you're talking about? You ever? No, nobody has any idea. Harris. Hey, where's Harris? They know Kamala. They know Kambabla. That was the nickname I used for a while, but I don't use it anymore because everyone thought I was just mispronouncing her name. I wasn't. Kambabla. But no, Comrade is the best because it says she's a Marxist, communist, fascist person, she's a fascist. Who the hell ever thought we'd be voting for a communist for president? She is. Look at her record. Do you know that she wanted to have transgender surgery on illegal aliens that came into our country that were in jail? Can you believe it? She wanted. Did anyone know that? I would say that's quite a liberal thing to do, don't you think? Where the hell did she come from? Honestly, I am not a big fan of Crooked Joe, but he would have been better than her. He really would have been. They didn't want her. She was the last one on the list. You know, they had 22 people they were looking at. And the people voted. She was the last one on the list, and I'm running against her. It should be a good thing. Look, based on, that's sort of like a poll. It should be a good thing. But it's so unfair to our country. And it's unfair to Crooked Joe, you know? I feel badly. Does anybody feel badly for Joe? No? He was the worst president in the history of our country. She is the worst vice president in the history of our country. And the only good thing, he's an old man now, and I'm sure he's watching right now, but Jimmy Carter, President Jimmy Carter, his administration looks totally brilliant by comparison. So he no longer has to go down as the worst president because this group, you know, I used to say, and I used to say it a lot, but if you took the 10 worst presidents or administrations, but 10 worst presidents in the history of our country and added them up, they would not have done the damage that this one presidency has done to our country. What's happened to our country? We're a laughing stock all over the world. You think President Xi is enjoying it? But he won't be enjoying it for long. Not only is Kamala allowing millions of illegal aliens to stampede across our border, but she is flying them in from other countries. You know, when she said a couple of months ago they put on some extra little brakes to make their numbers look a little bit better. But they forgot to tell you that they're flying in hundreds of thousands of people right over the border. And I was with the Art Del Cudo, I was with the people from Border Patrol today, and they said, no, those numbers don't register. In other words, they don't count when they fly them in. They're flying them in beautiful jet planes. They're flying them to Idaho potatoes. I don't think they want them. They're flying them to Iowa. They're flying them all over. You know, now we have only border states, okay? Who would believe this? They're saying, no, we want to stop them. But they're flying them in by the tens of thousands. On big, beautiful jet airplanes, they're flying them in. These people are sick, and they're destroying our country. You got to get out and vote, and make sure they're not cheating. Make sure your vote counts. Over the past 3.5 years, Harris and Biden have resettled 500,000 illegal migrants from Haiti, including over 200,000 that she has flown into the United States by very beautiful airplanes. I'd like to have one so nice. And deposited them into American communities all over the country. Meanwhile, the Wall Street Journal reported yesterday, quote, a Venezuelan gang is expanding its deadly reach into the United States. They've become real estate developers like I used to be. They're taking over apartment houses in Colorado. The story begins, U.S. law enforcement officials have watched with alarm the spread of Venezuela gangs known as dismembering rivals. They're dismembering rivals from Chile and from Colombia. They're dismembering. You know what that means? Cutting them up. They're cutting them up. How the hell did we allow this to happen to our country? Likewise, the New York Times, or as I call it, the failing New York Times. It's a failing paper. The Washington Post is a failing paper. Will you fail already? Just get out. They're such phonies. If the New York Times writes a story about you, just go the opposite. If you go the exact opposite, it'll be very accurate. The failing New York Times today reports this vicious Venezuela prison gang is, quote, it sneaked into the United States among the millions of migrants who have crossed the border and is peddling drugs, guns, and women across the 50 states from urban centers like New York and Chicago to Florida beaches and once tranquil middle America in Colorado. The gang even got a green light to shoot the cops. They were given an okay to shoot the cops. How about that? I just met a lot of great policemen backstage and policewomen backstage. That's not acceptable. But they were given an okay. When I return to the White House, I will launch a special task force of elite federal law enforcement and charge them with crushing and eliminating every foreign gang and organized crime network that is conquering our country. They're conquering our country. We will deploy ICE, DHS, and other federal officials to go in and liberate Aurora. Can you believe I'm saying this? Can you believe I have to say this? We are going to liberate parts of our country. Let's go back another 300 years. We are going to liberate our country. Did you ever think I would be standing here? It's a hell of a way to get elected. The only good thing about what they're doing is it's great for the guy that happens to be running against these idiots, okay? It's the only thing. That's the only benefit. That's the only benefit I can see is running against them is a very good thing. But last week, a high school girl in Virginia was walking to the bus stop when an illegal alien from Kamala Harris, caught and released into the United States and let go by her, drove up behind her pretending to be a police officer. He said, I'm a police officer. He wasn't. The predator got out, grabbed her, and forced her into his car. She had to escape by throwing herself out of a moving vehicle, believing she would be raped or murdered. She was very badly hurt. Also this month, an illegal alien who entered our country through Kamala's phone app. Could you believe? We have phone apps. You know where they go to? The cartels. The cartels have apps where they call in so they know where to deposit their illegal people, and they're making billions They'll be in the Forbes 400 along with your friend, me. I'll say, I don't believe it. This guy, he doesn't speak English. He can't read or write. And he's worth $10 billion. That tells you something, doesn't it? If they put all of these people into the Forbes 400, used to be a big list. I don't know if it's a big list. I think Forbes is failing pretty badly now. I haven't heard about it in a long time, but they'd occupy a large section of the list. But they have an app where they call so they know where they can illegally drop these people. An illegal alien who entered our country through Kamala's phone app was doing things that nobody believed. He was arrested for the murder of a 25-year-old woman in Tennessee, and in August, an illegal alien from Honduras, a beautiful place, who was previously deported under the Trump administration, was arrested for stabbing a young, beautiful 14-year-old girl with a butcher knife. As she watched her brother's baseball game, he was just doing a horrible thing. Who would like to hear the snake? Because I have nothing but time tonight. Got a lot of time. They love the snake. You know why? It's something that's highly accurate. It was a song many years ago, and we reworked it a little bit, and it became something that people like. But it's very accurate in terms of what it represents for this country, and very sad, too, I will tell you. So let's go. You ready? On her way to work one morning, down the path along the lake, a tender-hearted woman saw a poor, half-frozen snake. His pretty colored skin had been all frosted with the dew. "Poor thing," she cried. "I'll take you in, and I'll take care of you. Take me in, O tender woman, take me in for heaven's sake. Take me in, O tender woman," cried the vicious snake. She wrapped him up all cozy in a comforter of silk and laid him by her fireside with some honey and some milk. She hugged and kissed him brightly. The work that night had gone. She found the pretty snake she had taken in had been revived. "Take me in, O tender woman. Take me in for heaven's sake. Take me in, O tender woman," cried that vicious snake. She clutched him to her bosom. "You're so beautiful," she sighed. "But if I hadn't taken you in by now, you truly would have died." She stroked his pretty skin again and kissed and held him tight. But instead of saying, "Thank you, ma'am," the snake gave her a vicious bite. Surprise. "Take me in, O tender woman, take me in for heaven's sake. Take me in, O tender woman," sighed the vicious snake. "I saved you," cried the woman, "and you've bitten me, but why? You know your bite is poisonous, and now I'm going to die." "Shut up, silly woman," sighed the reptile with a grin. "You know damn well I was a snake before you took me in." And that's the end of the story. And I had to do that sucker by memory because there's no light up here. As much light, I'm dark. It's like dark. I had two problems. It's dark, and the print on that thing is so light you couldn't read it, so I did the best I could, but not bad, right? I couldn't see, Michael, I couldn't see a frickin' word. I said, "I have an idea, let's do this snake." And then I take it out, I say, "Oh my God, that's a very light print. Oh my God, there's no light." Between the light and the print, I'm saying, what the hell am I doing this for? But it wasn't bad, and you get the point. When I'm a president, and when I become your president, we're going to all work together, we're going to make it happen. We will get the illegal alien murderers, rapists, and child predators the hell out of our country, and we will not ever, ever, ever let them back in. So Nevada, get out and vote. We win this state, we're going to win the whole thing. We win this, we're going to win the whole thing. If we win this state, we win everything. And the people of Nevada also need to get out and vote for some really great people. And you have to vote against a really terrible, radical left senator named Jackie Rosen. She does a terrible job. We have running a man of the border, and I'm going to introduce you to him, but Jackie Rosen has voted with crooked Joe Biden nearly 100% of the time. She voted for every single inflation-causing spending bill, and she also voted for Joe Biden's open borders bill to set a minimum of 2 million illegal aliens per year. So can you imagine? They said this was a good bill, and that doesn't include the fly-ins, and it doesn't include all of the other people that get in. They come in through places that we wouldn't even believe. They go through Snake Mountain. Running against Wacky Jackie is an American hero named Sam Brown. Sam Brown. His wife is fantastic, also Amy. But Sam Brown has given up more than anybody who has ever run for the United States Senate. Remember that. He's given up more. He's given up more than anybody who's ever run for the United States Senate. He's a hero, too, a real brave person. Sam is a fearless patriot and Purple Heart recipient who served our country as a U.S. Army captain, totally respected in Afghanistan, where he was very severely wounded. But Sam survived, he persevered, he came back, he's stronger than ever. He's a great guy. I've gotten to know him well. He's a great guy. And I said to him tonight, Sam, I'm going to be the border president. You should be the border senator. And he said, I am. I actually am, because he believes us. And he is the border. Think of him. When you vote, he's going to close up the border. She wants to leave your border open. He became a small businessman and a leader here in Nevada, and now he is going to fight for this state like nobody has ever fought before. Sam Brown will vote to secure our border, stop inflation, strengthen our military, defend religious liberty, and cut taxes like you have never heard. Because Sam Brown thinks of one thing and one thing alone. It's called America First. That's what he wants, and he told me that. And he's an incredible guy. And I want you to remember this, because, look, I'll be back a few more times before the day, 53 days now. But I want you to remember this with Sam. He truly has. He's given up so